So beautiful. Before I can even begin telling the story, we have made it. We have made it. This is so beautiful. This is extremely beautiful. We all know that after the pandemic hit the world, many countries did not do well. Cuba wasn't excluded from that. It was worst, honestly, for a country that its economy it's awful, extremely awful. And after the pandemic, and after things just starting getting worse, just people became really unhappy, and they started pointing out that things are being done wrong. They didn't like the system. People don't Most people don't go with the system, but because you live in there, you kind of need to you gonna need to flow with it. What the government did, it's actually something they did in 2017. They did it with Ecuador. They opened the doors for people to go through that country and many other countries so they can make it to the US. That's what they do every time the social situation tends up. And this happened again in 2021. My mom is a doctor, was a doctor there, and she just didn't feel like there was a good place for us to keep growing and achieve the things we want to achieve. When I was younger, I really, really wanted to come to the US. I would dream about all the things that I would be able to do. But then I grew up a little bit and I kind of like accepted my situation, and I was like, it's not going to be possible for me to go. So I'm just going to make the best out of my life here in Cuba. And I did. I did enjoy my life. I did everything I needed to do there. I was actually there, I was studying to go to university. I wanted to either study, it's a career in Cuba works different. It has different names, but I wanted to study business or design. But majorly, I really wanted to study design. That's what I was going for. And after I finished like my school to go to university, just things started to get worse and worse. And my mom really had this idea, this goal, this faith, like huge faith, like we're gonna come out, we're gonna go out of Cuba, we're not gonna stay here. And at first I said like, okay, but I don't really want to go. I don't really want to go. I You can go. I will stay here. I will grow up here, and yeah, I'll just make my best here. One day, she came up to me and talked to me about this opportunity. I'll say this thing that the government did again. They did. They opened the borders for Cubans to go to Nicaragua without a visa. This trip costs money. Like, it's expensive. I'll like leave the numbers right here. It's really expensive. And for a Cuban, that basic salary of a doctor is like $50 a month. It's impossible for a Cuban to travel whatever place they want to go. It's really impossible. So yeah, that was everything started there. A lot of Cubans, like a year, almost like 6 or 7 months before we decided to go through that dangerous path to make it here to US. A lot of Cubans did it. A lot of Cubans sold all they had to go in this dangerous way to get to the US. Yeah, so one day my mom said like I'm actually considering to do this, to travel through here. And I was like, "Mom, I'm not going to let you do that alone. If you're really thinking of doing that, I'm coming with you. That's it." The opportunity was there. We somehow it was it was honestly a God's plan, a God's work. We had the possibility to do this trip, all cost covered, and we did. We find out we were leaving in like 4 days before the actual ticket to fly to Nicaragua and do this, and we had to pack our our whole house in so much little time, but we made it. We made it. I was so nervous, but also so excited. I knew everything was going to go well. God put me in this path for a reason. Like, this is what is supposed to be happening. We fly to Nicaragua and we start this dangerous trip. 7 countries in 10 days. We first flew through Dominican Republic. We had like a little plane stop there. Then we flew to Jamaica. Yeah, we flew to Jamaica. And then the final destination was Nicaragua. Once in Nicaragua, we stayed at this really bad, this really bad place. But we were safe. Yeah, we were safe. I guess that's what I wanted to think, that we were safe. After like a whole day, we took some taxis and we started to go to the border between Nicaragua and Honduras. After that, we had to go through some mountains, do some paperwork to be able to actually like be legal in this other country, and that took a long time. But this part, like this first 3 countries, is the easiest, I think. They people say, like all the other people that tell about their experiences, like other Cubans that talk about this experience, they say that the hottest one is Mexico. For us, it was just like it was the worst, which is the wait, because when you do this type of journey, you don't want to wait. You just want to go to your final destination, and that was our case. We just wanted to make it as soon as possible. I had a video in Spanish that I said this, that I actually really enjoyed my journey to the US, because I have always wanted to travel, and being able to travel all these countries in 10 days, it was it was a special thing for me, even though we were risking everything. But I just knew, I just had this big faith, and I felt really safe through the whole process. So after Honduras, we make it to Guatemala, and after Guatemala, we had to go through mountains again, beautiful mountains. For a lot of people, even old people do this, because families that are here want them to be here as well. So when they saw this opportunity, this door open, they decided to do it, and like put the money to have their families go through this path to the US. And after Guatemala, we went through Guatemala in one day, which is an easy ride, one day. And The hottest part for us was this one, when we were crossing the border between Guatemala and Mexico. This is a river, and they put you into this really dangerous handmade a ship. I would call it like a ship. It's not a ship. I don't even know. It's like a floating thing. And they put you in these. And then at the other side, when we were crossing, the Mexican guard was there, and we had to go back. And I was the first one to get off. And then when they said that, we got to go back, I needed to jump right back in this floating thing, and I fell into the river. I swam into the river with my bag, everything soaked in water. When we made it, when all the people were making it to land, we had to run our life off because we these people cannot get us. And oh gosh, that was the most intense, stressful situation we had to go through. But we made it safe to Mexico. We made it safe. And after 4 days, it was like 4 days after waiting for the papers to actually be legal in Mexico and go through Mexico in a legal way. And so we don't have problems when the police stops the transportation and stuff. We we did Mexico in bus. Taking these two buses. One it was like 17 hours, and the other one was like 22 hours. Really long rides. But yeah, this also mean like eating really bad, just like fruit and Powerades to be able to get energy to go through all this. After we were close to the border, we stay at some place. I actually got sick the night before we were going to cross the river. It's called the Angry River. We had to wait until afternoon almost. It was not night. It was like 2 or 3 p.m. And we started crossing this river. And after this river, you just in the US already. You are in the US already when you cross this river. And that was the most exciting thing. We made it. We finally made it. Okay, what else can I tell you about this interesting story of mine? After we entered the US, they put us in this confinement. It's not a prison. Oh, it is. I don't know. We were in this place of a government, and after the 3 days, we were released. We were in Texas. We had to go to San Antonio to get the flight that our friends booked for us. And wow, when you, even in the place that we stay for 3 days, you can feel the change. It's not like other countries. It's not. US is something else, something apart from everything I've seen before. Every- I always say that it looks so clean. To me, it looked neat. It looked clean, really clean. I really love that. And everything is so big. Actually, everything is huge. And we were in Texas, in San Antonio for a night. We had to stay at this refugee um, place that they offered, place for people to wait until they can fly to other places, or people that don't have people that come here and probably don't have where to go. They go to this place. So we stay here until they could take us to the airport. We had a flight to Miami. We had a flight to Miami, and we had to stop in Chicago. The airport of Chicago is so beautiful. And I remember we bought this yogurt with granola at the airport, and it was Greek yogurt. Trying Greek yogurt for the first time. Oh my god, it's so amazing. It's really so amazing. The taste is so soft. The flavor is amazing. Oh my gosh, this was like, whoa, like when you first try food here, coming from another place. Ah, it's just amazing. And be able to try all these new flavors. Yeah. After we had to go through this situation of like having to come to the US in this way, being here is such, I feel so free. I feel so capable of doing the things that I always wanted to do. I really like finances. Like a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years I think, I started really getting into finance and like finding all these finance YouTubers because I really wanted to learn. But the market in Cuba is like so different. I also really love creating, and I want to create videos to inspire, to show beautiful things. Because when you go online and you search on YouTube, you just really you really wanted to learn new things, you want to see new places. Being in Cuba through YouTube, I was able to know the world in a way. I search all this content about living in certain states in the US and learning the culture. Yeah, just traveling in a way through YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to my story. I really hope I can see you soon again. Bye bye.